Okay, the next type of service we're going to enter is non-client crisis intervention. So to enter one such record, I will click on services and then non-client crisis intervention. So this is service provided to people that have either called the hotline or maybe they dropped in person and they are not a client that's undergone the intake process and are an existing record in InfoNet. So to add a new record of non-clients, this is anonymous most of the time. You just enter the date, the type of intervention, whether it was in person or phone. Also, if, any virtual services where there's a camera involved, you can count that as in person. And that goes for not just anonymous client intervention, but also for service categories too, direct services to clients. Number of contacts. This is a situation where you may want to group your contacts. If I took 5 calls in a particular morning, I would enter 5 for the total number of contacts. Total time, again, I want to enter the cumulative number of hours that I spent on all 5 of these calls. So I'm going to pretend these were average 15 minutes per call. So that would be 1.25 hours. Now, if you enter hotline calls in the domestic violence interface, that is collected in minutes. In sexual assault, they wanted it in hours. So there is an inconsistency there. That's how each group of providers wanted it. But if you use the DV interface, you need to shift your thinking here. You don't want to enter in minutes. You want to enter in hours, rounded to the nearest quarter hour like other services. You can also enter demographics for your anonymous crisis intervention contact. If you have them, most of the time, I think this is a crisis call. You're not probably going to get a chance to collect this information. It's here if you have it, but please do not feel any pressure to collect this information. They're just there for when you do know the information. This you might know a little more easily if the caller is either a direct victim of violence or maybe they're a significant other calling about a loved one. The staff who provided that service, if you have referral source or information about where you're referring this caller or anonymous client to, you can enter that information here. And then if you know which county the call is coming in from, you can also enter that. And the town, township, and zip code, I'm going to leave those blank. Those are actually left blank more often than not. But if you do have the information, it is helpful to collect it. So you can at least get some information on where your non-client crisis intervention requests are coming in from. I'm going to save my record. And here again, we have the option save and add new if you're entering multiple records at a time. I'm not going to add another record for non-client crisis intervention. I'm going to go back to the main search page and to edit any existing records. I'm going to widen my search field going back a couple of years to see more records. Okay, so only 3 in the past few years in this training site. If I want to edit any of these, I just click the edit button. I can change whatever needs to be changed. Or I can delete the record by clicking this button. I can also search past records by staff. I'm going to go way back in time here because I don't know if Bugsy Bunny has provided any records. Okay, they did provide a non-client crisis intervention service back in 2011. So you can search by staff. You can also search by intervention type, whether it was over the phone or in person. And that's all there is to entering non-client crisis intervention contacts.